Welcome and thank you for enrolling in the course Introduction to Stock Markets. Being the first of several videos, I'm sure you're very excited to learn and start your journey in the stock market. Over the following several videos, we will cover various concepts relating to stock markets that you need to be well versed with before starting to trade and invest in stocks. We suggest you take your time watching each video in the order they are uploaded. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comment section and we would be happy to answer them at the earliest. Once you complete all the chapters in the course, we suggest you take the end of course quiz to test your understanding of the subjects covered. Once you pass the quiz, you will receive a course completion certificate too. Now isn't that cool? We hope that you make out the most of this course and that it benefits you to the maximum. Again, we welcome you to the course Introduction to Stock Markets. In this video, we will discuss the most basic concepts relating to personal finance, savings, investing, and inflation. Let us start by trying to understand what savings and investment are. Assume that you work for a company that pays you a monthly after-tax salary of 1 lakh rupees. Out of this 1 lakh rupees, let's say you utilize 70,000 rupees to meet your monthly expenses. These include EMI on loans, household expenses, insurance payments, etc. Deducting all expenses from your after-tax income leaves a balance of 30,000 rupees. This balance is nothing but your savings. Out of these savings, let us say that you invest 20,000 rupees monthly towards buying mutual funds and gold. This is investing, a part of savings invested in certain assets to earn attractive returns. Let us now quickly summarize the two concepts that we just spoke about. Savings is the after-tax income left over after deducting all the expenses. Meanwhile, investing means making your savings work harder for you by purchasing or investing in assets to earn more attractive returns than those offered by a bank account. Before you consider investing, you need sufficient savings because investments are made from savings. Savings is very critical because it helps you take care of unplanned expenses that could arise suddenly, such as medical emergencies. Savings also help take up significant expenses. Funding such expenses from your income alone might not suffice. Examples include a down payment for purchasing a home, children's education, etc. Hence, some portion of your income must always be saved each month. Doing so will help you attain peace of mind and relieve financial stress. As a very rough guideline, you should have around 6 to 9 months of your after-tax monthly income in savings at any point in time. It can take care of any unforeseen situations and expenses if they arise. While you now understand the importance of savings, is it sufficient to help you realize your long-term financial goals? The answer is no. You should only save a part of your savings to ensure that you have enough funds available whenever the need arises. Savings beyond that must be invested. There are two reasons for investing your savings. Number one, the returns you earn by keeping your money idle in a bank account are very low. Number two, inflation eats into your savings year after year. Wait a minute. Now what's inflation? Well, let's understand this using a simple example. Let's assume that the price of a pen last year was 10 rupees. This year, the price of the same pen has gone up to 11 rupees. This is nothing but inflation. An increase in the price of goods and services over time. You would undoubtedly have experienced inflation over the years. To find out how, ask yourself a question. What were my monthly living expenses 5 years ago? And what are they today? Even if you have maintained the same standard of living over the years, your monthly living expenses would certainly have gone up. This is the effect of inflation. As you can see, expenses keep rising over time because of inflation. How can one mitigate the impact of inflation and ensure that their standard of living remains unaffected? Well, One is that your income growth matches the increase in expenses. For instance, consider your income is 1 lakh rupees per month and expenses are 60,000 rupees. A 10% annual inflation rate would mean that your expenses would approximately amount to 66,000 rupees per year. This is an increase of 6,000 rupees from the previous year. If your income increases by the same amount, you will maintain your living standard. Another way to fight inflation is by investing in assets whose returns match or surpass inflation. For instance, assume that the long-term annual inflation rate is 7%. Investing in assets that have historically provided returns equal to or greater than 7% can help you maintain your standard of living. A question you might ask is, how much of my savings must I ideally invest? Well, there is no single answer to this question. In fact, it varies from one person to another. As a general guideline, it is essential to balance the two. If you do not invest and only save, the returns would be poor and you risk lowering your standard of living because of inflation. On the other hand, if you invest all or most of your savings, you may face difficulties raising funds when unplanned expenses crop up. This is because selling investments may take time. Also, investments are meant for the long term. Selling them soon defeats the purpose of investment. Before concluding, let's quickly talk about how to track and read inflation. The Indian government releases two types of inflation reports periodically. One is the Wholesale Price Index or WPI, which measures changes in the price of goods purchased by wholesalers or manufacturers. The other is the Consumer Price Index or CPI, which measures changes in the price of widely used goods and services purchased by end consumers. As CPI measures inflation at the end user level, it is a more widely tracked measure of inflation in India that helps compute the cost of living for a household. It is typically released in the second week of each month. For example, for April 2022, India's annualized CPI stood at 7.79%, meaning prices rose 7.79% in April 2022 from the same period last year, that is, April 2021. So there you go. We spoke about three crucial things: savings, investment, and inflation. Let us conclude this video by talking about the key takeaways. Savings is the after-tax income left over after meeting all the expenses. Investment is making your savings work harder for you by investing in assets to earn attractive returns. Investment is made from savings. Hence, ensure that you have ample savings before investing. Savings help take care of unplanned or significant expenses. Hence, you must save a part of your monthly income. Savings alone is insufficient to meet your long-term goals because it offers poor returns and fails to beat inflation. Inflation refers to an increase in the price of goods and services over time, expressed as an annual percentage. Because of inflation, expenses tend to rise over time. To beat inflation, your income growth must match inflation, or the returns your investment provide must match inflation, or a combination of both. That was all that we wanted to talk about in this video. We hope to see you in the following video where we shall speak of investment avenues.